And we thank the Lord for everything the Lord has done for us. Now we have on the platform this morning, Comrade Joe, who has really expressed his mind on the very fact that the stakeholders have been left out of the WordPress conference. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our dear viewers, you are once again welcome to the best channel that gives you the update of Grant that's ongoing, which you all know. This is the hope and freedom you know right here will give you all the latest information pertaining grant futures and every other update. Right now it is about the grant that's ongoing, the disbursement, and it is the schedule that will be taking place. Actually, I addressed that in my submission this morning. And I also want to appreciate Reverend Elebo, who swung into action to respond to Comrade Joe in that perspective. And I just want to allay your fears and your worries. Comrade Joe, honestly, forget about the fact that stakeholders' names were not mentioned. Grant handler's name was mentioned. Like you were concerned about the stakeholders who collected money from the people through the coordinators and you mentioned names. I wouldn't want to mention names right now, you understand, but the fact remains that everybody is going to be sniffled out in this press conference. Whether your name was mentioned or not, you will be sniffled out. You would have to be committed to the cause. The stakeholders are not hiding. The WordPress conference is going to bring them out, you understand. So let's hear what he has to say. Let's hear what he has to say. N. But I'm just trying to give you some responses to that. And in case you jam my first submission this morning, please listen to it holistically and know the impact the WordPress conference is going to really foster. Alright, pay attention to Comrade Joe. Comrade Joe, your time now.
On the platform this morning, Comrade Joe, who has really expressed his mind on the very fact that the stakeholders have been left out of the WordPress conference, not been mentioned. Actually, I addressed that in my submission this morning. And I also want to appreciate Reverend Elibo, who swung into action to respond to Comrade Joe in that perspective. And I just want to allay your fears and your worries. Comrade Joe, honestly, forget about the fact that stakeholders' names were not mentioned. Grant handler's name was mentioned. Like, you were concerned about the stakeholders who collected money from the people through the coordinators, and you mentioned names. I wouldn't want to mention names right now. You understand? And but the fact remains that everybody is going to be sniffled out in this press conference. Whether your name was mentioned or not, you will be sniffled out. You would have to be committed to the cause. The stakeholders are not hiding. The WordPress conference is going to bring them out. You understand? So let's hear what he has to say. Let's hear what he has to say. But I'm just trying to give you some responses to that. And in case you jam my first submission this morning, please listen to it holistically and know the impact the WordPress conference is going to really foster. All right, pay attention to Comrade Joe. Comrade Joe, your time now.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen in Grant community. Coming on your way this evening, being 29th of January 2026, happened to be on Thursday, is Comrade Joe from the Niger Delta. First and foremost, I am excited about what is going on, and I want to appreciate all the Grant community, most especially the president, our president, Reverend Moses from Abuja, and all his executive, chairman of the different committee. I really want to appreciate you for your good work, and I want to thank everyone who are supporting this move in tweeting, financial support. The Lord will bless you richly. And the eyes of the Lord will keep watching our president and all his executive. No weapon will fashion against you that will prosper. That is my prayer for you in the name of Jesus. So many persons have come to this level, try to do this minister conference. But to my understanding, they doesn't have the oil to do it. There is a man God always raised, and God anoint for something, and when that person stand to do it, nobody try to imitate it, because he's anointed for that purpose. The oil is on his head, and because of that oil, he become a touch not, whether the devil kingdom self afraid to touch such a one. And I really want to appreciate a man who allow himself to be used by God for the liberation of the poor masses in Nigeria, and as a president of the GCDM, the Grand Community Decide Movement. I really want to appreciate you. Watching the jingle today, everything is going perfectly, and thank God for everyone that is treating. But there is a suggestion I want to make. There is something that is giving me a little concern, and so many persons, many of my followers, so many have called me and also asked about this. With everything we are seeing so far, the stakeholders are not being mentioned. And we understand that the 70% of this money is stakeholder, and the major money, what key people most is stakeholders. The money that stakeholder and the coordinators collected from grant community is so huge. And looking at the jingle, the stakeholders were not there. Only the grand handler, we see some of their faces, the stakeholders were not there, and everything, even the open letter, the stakeholders were not measured. My question, are we putting the stakeholder aside? Are we covering the stakeholder and their coordinators? That is when people like them, Abasokore, Pastor Donald, still continue to deceive people, bringing fake all day because they feel their side is covered. Nobody talk about them. And the way we are doing this conference, no stone should be left unturned. God is helping us and we are succeeding, but no stone should be left unturned. Stakeholder is included. Stakeholders that have never addressed grant community one day. Stakeholders that have been trying to lie to their coordinator to tell us. Stakeholders that have not revealed their identity, and yet they are telling us they are stakeholder. They are telling us, the coordinators are saying they are stakeholder, who they are collecting the money we gave to them. Then the stakeholders should be carried along. So I'm trying to answer this question. I want this voice note to get to the Grand Community Decide Movement Executive. I know the president, Reverend Moses, will be so busy, but he have a vice president, admin, chief priest. Admin high priest. Person of admin high priest, Daval. Please, people like this, you respond to us. The PRO, Mr. Freeman, Annie Freeman. Please respond. Are we leaving the stakeholder? Because so many people are weighing down when they see everything, the jingle. The stakeholder will not carry along. They are weighing down. So they want to know, are we leaving the stakeholder or we are carrying them along? Because now stakeholders have never even come out one day, whether they are stakeholder, no stakeholder. We only hear from coordinator there is someone called stakeholder, but they have never one day addressed the grant community. And because now the International World Conference is going on, we are preparing for it, and the stakeholder are not being measured. You see people like the Pastor Donald, fake Pastor Donald, are still coming up to deceive people, bringing stupid write-up, still trying to collect subscription money from people because they think their side is covered. No stone should be left unturned. Please, sir, everyone that this voice note reach, let it get to Reverend Moses, let it get to all the executive, let them give answer to this. Are we living that we just after the grand handler and the CEO? Because anything has not been measured about coordinators, about stakeholders. Are we putting them aside? Because this is the first press conference, international press conference, and no stone should be left. We have suffered so much. No stone should be left unturned. There shouldn't be partial in this thing. We should do it and make sure everyone, if there is pioneer, we should know. If there is no pioneer anywhere, we should know. If there is stakeholder anywhere, we should know. If the coordinator is the one just collecting money, lying that they are stakeholder, we should know. This thing should expose everything. Please, I need the answer. Let somebody give answer to this. Please. So many people are worried. They don't know how to reach. And many have called me and complain about this thing. And I say, let me say this thing. to the general house. Let somebody who have ideas should give answer to this, please. Anybody that have idea, we carry them along, or we are putting them aside for now and attend to only grant handler, which is just 30% of the US money, as we were told. The real 70% is the project, which is the stakeholder. Are we putting them aside after collecting billions from the masses? Please, I need the answer. I need to respond. Everyone that this voice will get to, that's the gospel. This voice will reach all the people in the executive of the Grand Community Decide movement. God bless you, each and everyone. As you hear this voice known, I remain Comrade Joe from the Niger Delta. Together we make a difference. We will surely work together, and success is a teamwork. The Lord have given us success, and we will not give up until we get there. Bye for now. Good night.